In this video, we are going to talk about Toshi, some of its recent price action, the important support and resistance areas, and where we can expect the price of Toshi to go in the next few days and weeks. So looking at the weekly chart, what we can see is that in the last couple of weeks, Toshi has been dumping very aggressively, and it recently lost some very crucial support areas that I have talked about in previous videos. Before we get into the recent price action, I want to quickly summarize the price action in the last few months. As you can see, since April, Toshi has been rallying very well, holding this trend line and getting some very significant rallies. But since October, when we saw Bitcoin starting to dump, Toshi very quickly followed it and started dumping, and it lost this crucial support area that is this trend line. And right after that, it started dumping very strongly, and then it went all the way down to this low from back in June. And in previous videos, I've talked about this low in June being a very important support area that Toshi would have to hold for it to have a significant chance of a rally. And then Toshi started consolidating at this support area. This came together with Bitcoin getting a slight relief rally from about 80k to over 90k. And then I also talked on the shorter term on this wedge that Toshi created, and I said that this would be a very important decision point for Toshi, and if it breaks out from the wedge to the upside, it would most likely lead to a very explosive rally all the way up to the trend line. But if it breaks down from the wedge, then it would very quickly lead to a very significant dump by Toshi. And as you can see, the price of Toshi broke down below the wedge and it lost the support area, and it is now significantly below it. Technically, Toshi didn't close a weekly candle below the support area yet, but it seems almost certain that it will. Toshi went all the way down to 0.0003, and it since then went up a little bit. But since it will most likely close the weekly candle below the support area, I think that the most likely outcome, now that Toshi broke down below this wedge, is that it will continue to struggle and eventually head all the way down to the all-time low. This would be the next crucial support area for Toshi, and this would be another dump of over 30%. Of course, it doesn't have to happen right away. Toshi could get a bit of a recovery, maybe test the resistance area again, but unless it starts actually strongly recovering and actually closing a weekly candle back above the support area, which would likely only happen if Bitcoin gets a significant rally very soon, I think that the most likely outcome in the next couple of months is that Toshi goes all the way down to the April low and tests it as support. I think that a rally for Toshi from the April low is going to be a lot more likely, especially if it happens together with Bitcoin getting a relief rally. As I said in previous videos, I am expecting Bitcoin to get a relief rally to over 100k sometime in the next few months. Even if we are in a bear market, it will most likely create a lower high back above 100k. But the timing of this relief rally is completely uncertain. It might happen soon, it might take a few more months. If it happens very soon, then it is possible that Toshi just recovers back above this support area and it still eventually gets a significant rally all the way up to the trend line. But I think that it is very unlikely now, and the much more likely scenario is that it continues to struggle, rides all the way down to the April low, and only then gets a rally from there after Bitcoin already does very well. I think that until Bitcoin does a lot better and Ethereum follows it, Toshi and generally most altcoins will likely continue to struggle compared to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So I would definitely avoid getting into Toshi at the moment, unless maybe Toshi actually gets a recovery very quickly and closes the weekly candle back above the support area. But even then, it would still be very risky to hold Toshi. Toshi is a very small market cap meme coin. It's incredibly risky and volatile, and the potential upside for Toshi, in my opinion, is only just over 2x at best. If you were to buy Toshi once it crosses the support area and it goes all the way up to the trend line, it would still only be a rally of about 100%, which sounds very good, but for such a small market cap meme coin, it is really not that impressive, and there are a lot of other meme coins that have a much better upside and potential for a rally. So I really don't like what I'm seeing on this chart, and as I said, I would definitely avoid Toshi at the moment. Of course, this is not financial advice whatsoever, but that's just what I think, and I would also avoid being heavy into altcoins at the moment. I think that most altcoins will continue to lag behind Bitcoin and Ethereum and underperform them, at least until Bitcoin starts doing a lot better and we see a much better sentiment in the entire crypto market. Again, this isn't financial advice, that's just what I would personally do. And that's going to be it for this video about Toshi. If you enjoyed it and you want more updates about Toshi as well as other altcoins, make sure to subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.